we can get rolling. What I told the team after the game was that this is the most challenged we've been in our time together. And I reminded them it's not enough to learn the lessons, but we have to apply them. And love the fight that we have, fight games, close games, but we've got to apply them. Learn the lesson of the finishing, the ball, whatever that might apply to. We've got to make sure we do that. And so I reminded them it's never about one play. And so that execution falls on all of us, players and coaches. And I firmly believe that. And so we'll get to it tomorrow. We'll look at the tape and get right to the truth of it all. So all that said, let's get rocking with you guys.
Do you have an update on Austin Eckler?
Adam and I just had a chance to visit with him now. So he'll do more tests tonight, but it was a concussion.
Just your sense overall of the game. I mean, it looked like all three phases were not playing to their ability, I guess. What was your view of it?
My view, I thought, what a wild special teams moment of block punts, kicks, kickoff returns, block field goals, just a number of things, going to that spot. I thought defensively, the team played well on third down into that spot to go, so I was pleased to see some of that. But just, not enough plays for us, third downs offensively to really win it, Nicky. So unusual game for sure, but that's the division. And wild games, battling for it. But more than anything, that's what I shared with him about applying those lessons we learned.
Special teams had some good plays at the start, but obviously the second half, some more struggle. What were your thoughts on Cybert's day and then the initial kick return coming back?
Yeah, for sure. I can hit you on all of them. I want to look at them all to make sure, like usually on a kick, it's usually the operation to everything to make sure, snap, hold, kick, all of that to go. I know on one of the extra points, looked like it hit the ground. I didn't have the same, broadcast, view that you guys did, but that's what I saw. And so he's working through that. We've had that, come up, before. So that's the balance of getting underneath and going so you don't have low kicks. As far as the one at the end, honestly, I thought, Ben, it's going to be a good kick. Got him pinned down. Anytime you can get it to bounce, you think you're in good shape. But, Devontae made a couple good, moves and get an explosive one to go. But I love our attitude when we'd have to score, what that would be to go get us into this fight, get a 4-minute stop. I don't know how long the last few minutes locked, but it seemed like there was a season of, teachable moments that would go on. And so I love what we stand for the finish. And I'm wanting those lessons to be, applied earlier in the ball game.
You mentioned you liked the fight that you guys had at the end, but at the beginning, do you think it was there to the degree that it had been for most of the year when you guys have come out pretty strong against teams like this?
Yeah, I want to make sure this confidence is rolling whoever we're playing, Ben, and I don't want it to go up and down and up and down. So again, I'll look back at the tape and the best part of this is you get to go dig in and go for it again, man. And but from a performance side, is there plenty to clean up on? You bet. And you don't want to miss an opportunity. And when you got a home game and going for it in the division, you want to take advantage of those. And when you miss them, it stings.
Dan, you guys had a few home games earlier in the year where you were playing struggling teams and you dominated them. You came out and buried them. Does a day like today where you don't do that and you kind of play down, does that give you any pause or worry about where you guys are at all? No,
I really thought playing a division team, backed in the corner, they're going to come out and fight too. This is a group that's got, a lot of pride about them as well. So I didn't think that was going to be the case heading in.
And the offense has struggled the last few
Sure.
weeks. And I know there's 100 reasons why, but
Yeah.
what are you seeing that was there in September and October that's not there?
Yeah. Sometimes I feel there's, when you make a mistake, is that one that's technique or over trying? And sometimes that can be a thing to make sure to make the plays that come to you. And that's part of execution too. I want to make sure we just stay into that pocket of doing that. Any player or coach I'm going to make the perfect call or the perfect run or whatever that looks like. And more often than not, just the best ones executed. And, we'll continue to work hard at that. But as we're going through, that's something we're going to dig to. I think we had talked, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, about, self-scouting and that. And we stay pretty consistent with that throughout. So I don't necessarily feel it's that as much as let's make sure this execution is right. And I was very pleased that we had practice this past week where we got more, shots at it, more things to go. And I look forward to that being the case again, because that's really how you do get better. And I loved the energy that the guys had, and although it didn't carry over into the game for the execution, the preparation was right.
After Terry's touchdown, you immediately make the signal for one. Did you give any thought to two?
No, I thought if after we score, we'd go for one, and the reason behind that, I thought, let's get back into it, but we don't have to decide it on this play. And so that was where I thought, let's go, and then, hey, Joe, we got one stop, we'll get it, and then at the coin toss, let's go through the whole process again and reset it. So I thought in that way, that was the right call on that. Obviously, you're not factoring in the other part of things, but that was my thought. Going into it, the previous one, if we had scored, we had to kick a field goal. I wanted to kick the field goal in prior to the 2 minutes so we could use that, have the other timeout. So when you're down 2 scores, you're kind of a little more strategic to get a kick in prior to a certain time. So that's what we had told Jaden in the offense. Let's get it in before this time. And so it gave us a chance to come back to it, get the stop, to go, and then the big one to Terry. So, but I was thinking one the whole time. Sorry, long-winded answer to your question.
Seems like hours ago now, but the 4th and 2 early in the game, maybe the first or second drive, you kicked a 50-yard field goal. Seems like most of the year in that spot, you guys have gone for that. Can you just take us through that thinking?
Really going into it, we just talked about our line to kick, and Austin had a good week at it, went to go. So once it's at the space, that's the line to get to, and we didn't feel like we had to overtry or go further for it. So it had nothing to do with anything other than, hey, we're at the spot, let's go get some points and move it from there.
One more situational one for
Sure.
you on the Turpin kick return.
Yes.
Austin said that you guys were going for a dirty kick to make him feel it there. What's the thought of a dirty kick versus just trying to kick it through the end zone?
Yeah, it's harder to kick it out than you think. And so I thought it was really, honestly, from the kicking standpoint, executed well. So if you have to stop your feet and get it once to go, that's the challenge. If you can get to hit the ground, that's what you're trying to do into that spot. But that's the difference.
And then on the offensive side, how much do things change for you? Play calling, like kind of what runs are up, what's not, formations, or essentially personnel groupings when Brian is suddenly unavailable for you?
Yeah, it just got tighter as it goes. When you're getting an ankle sprain, you can go through it, and then once that hits, you don't have the same power to use it. So it definitely changes because Jeremy and Austin are also pretty significant factors on the special team side. So a little bit of shuffling to go, and that's part of it, man. Of digging it through and finding a way and stepping into it. So that's not unusual. We also Andrew Wiley was also out with a concussion. So get into the space to the next player into that spot. You've seen us at practice. We put a bunch of guys in and roll them through. So when their moment is called, they're ready for it. We'd hate to have a guy go into a situation they weren't prepared for.
You mentioned the injuries there, and the production just kind of continues to diminish. What's your level of concern offensively?
Can you be more specific
Just
with the injuries?
There's a number of injuries on the line, and then Eckler, and then just the production for the offense is diminishing. Like, how concerned are you about it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say concerned in the level I would use for maybe your word, but not mine. I want to make sure that everything that we're doing, we want to go attack it. And injuries are not we all have that. I mean, every team does. So that's part of the gig. And I like that we have a good deep crew to go hit it. But execution is really where we're at and what we're going to dig on hard. And that's what we'll focus on heading into this week.
And just the weirdness of the end of that game. You've been around the sport for a long time. I mean, can you capture how strange
Yeah,
it is?
there's been a lot of weird already. I love it, and that's what I'm wanting that belief to go, because we've been in these being battle tested as a first year group more than most, and you want to be able. That's kind of why I said what I said at the beginning. It's not just learning them and being in these end of game winning time moments. It's about winning them, and we've won some. But I want to make sure every time we go, this is the edge, this is where to go, this is the time to go capture it. And I love that we're never out of the fight, but I do want to make sure it doesn't have to go to that space. And that part, is one that, we're going to work hard on to get right.
Take 3 more. You good?
All right, thank you, everybody.
All right.
See you tomorrow.
I was waiting for somebody. Let's discuss
One left.
the pass rush. It didn't seem like it was
Agreed.